Hi everyone. I'm going to be presenting my presentation of concept and definitions. I am in group 3 and we were assigned the following concepts. First was ethical problem solving, second was ethics in rural communities, and third was critical concepts or critical issues. I'm sorry. So for me, I will be discussing the ethics in rural communities. So for me, whenever I was looking over this information, first off, I will be utilizing two sources. One will be the book Netting that we have for this class, and then also I'll be utilizing the PowerPoint that we discussed last week in class. So according to the book in Netting, in chapter 1, that covers our NASW Code of Ethics and the importance of such. So, as we know, we have to abide by the Code of Ethics, and in regards to rural communities, it didn't say specifically that it wasn't really anything geared towards community, like rural communities. However, from what I've learned thus far in this course and in previous courses so far with this program, I've learned that an important ethic to really abide by when working in rural communities, indoor settings, would be first off, will be boundaries. Because of the simple fact that in rural communities, since it is such a close, tight knit community, it is very, very important just to maintain boundaries and to ensure that your own self is safe, and then to ensure the client is also like maintaining appropriate boundaries as well. Because in rural communities, your client could be the bagger at the grocery store, or your client could go with you to church. So I feel as though having the conversation early on in the session with that client is important, so they understand that if they do see you in the street or out and about, they know how to direct you, because it's important that you don't just let them overstep boundaries. Also, in regards to netting in chapter 3, it discusses different oppressed groups, such as different races, such as Hispanics and African Americans. It discusses disabled people, those with disabilities, and then it goes into a different section about LGBTQ. So the reason why I brought this up is because in rural communities, a lot of the times they do have these oppressed groups, and a lot of the oppressed groups, their voices often are not being heard. So as a future social worker, when working in rural communities, it's important to keep their dignity and worth intact and ensure that we are being a voice for them. So I feel as though when I, do get to that position, I know that for a future social worker, I need to ensure that their needs are being met and that I am doing all that I can do to ensure that they're getting everything they could possibly need. In regards to the presentation from last week, we discussed ethical dilemmas. And so I feel as though this is really important in rural communities, especially because, as I said before, there could be a lot of gaps and a lot of things that could happen within a client worker relationship in the rural community as a whole. So just ensuring that we maintain appropriate boundaries and are advocating and ensuring our clients' dignity and worth who happen to be an oppressed group is really the overarching resources and tools that we can use to ensure that in rural communities that they're getting all their needs met. So this is my little segment of our presentation. I hope that it covered everything. So if you have any questions, let me know.